This is Let's Make Some Wrapping Paper, generously brought to you by the Greenbelt Artist. So welcome to class. I am Racquel Keller, and I will be teaching you how to make some simple stamps and ultimately make some fabulous wrapping paper with those stamps. So step one is to get a good clean workspace. So clear off a table, and then I would recommend maybe covering it with a drop cloth or an old tablecloth or an old sheet or one of those plastic tablecloths that you can get in the party supply section, or some old newspaper. Anything that you have is really good that'll protect the surface, and trust me, you'll thank me later because it really does make cleanup so much easier. So step two is download your templates. If you haven't had a chance to do that, they are available here. You can click the link and that should direct you to a place where you can download the templates. There are 4 to choose from, but you really don't have to choose. You can download all 4 if you like. They have basic shapes, fun shapes, animal shapes, and nature shapes. So whatever makes your heart sing, they're available there for your perusal and use. So step 3 is gather your supplies. There's nothing worse to be in the midst of a great inspiration and saying, oh, where did I put that red paint? So go ahead, make sure that you have all of your supplies. So it should be cardboard, paint, paper, a paper plate, which is going to be used as your palette. So you're going to put your paint on that to make it easier to cover your stamps and the such. Pencil, scissors, Sharpie, straw, templates, toilet paper roll, and a little bit of twine. And then step 4 is my favorite step. Let your imagination play. So go ahead, clear all the cobwebs out, and just have some good old-fashioned fun. So are you ready to get started? Let's go ahead and do it. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about is pattern. And so you'll see on wrapping paper that there are often patterns. They'll have a whole bunch of like light bulbs or gift packages or little dogs, and they're all in normally a pretty systematic setting. So a decorative design that is one or more repeating shapes is what makes up a pattern. And so what I would recommend is that you start pretty simple. So just start with one stamp for the time being, and just kind of get used to it. And then you can start adding your embellishments. So if you have an idea, like you want to take a square stamp and make little gift packages on your wrapping paper, you can do that. So, and you can embellish with ribbon and the such using your Sharpie. So if you're like me, you like examples. And so what I did is I put together a few samples for you. So simple being just very kind of straightforward, clean little marks. Then you can do chaos if you're somebody who likes to fling a little bit of paint, and that, you know, kind of call on the spirit of Jackson Pollock, I guess. And then if you're somebody who likes a little bit more structure, you can go ahead and set things out in a more grid-like systematic pattern. And if you're like me, sometimes you like structure, sometimes you like chaos, sometimes you like them both together. And that is something where you can run a little bit free, but it's in a contained kind of space. And so now I'm going to leave you to make some stamps from cardboard. So you should have each of the steps for these, and then I will be back later. So you may have noticed I wasn't gone very long. The technology is not my strong suit. But anyway, with your stamp, you may notice I had a heart on the previous screen, and now there's a square. Don't worry, the heart will come back. The heart is still there. It will reappear. But this is just to show you there are multiple stamps. You can make multiple patterns and really kind of open things up. So this is using cardboard to make lines. Sandwiched in between the two little pieces of paper that hold the cardboard together. I'm not sure if cardboard is the entire thing or the internal part. I know the internal part is called fluting. So that's what we're trying to expose, is we're trying to expose the fluting because it has a really nice pre-made kind of straight line system. So you want to peel back one of the layers and go ahead and get all the little bits of paper off of those little ridges. And the biggest thing when you go to stamp this, I would recommend, is trying to keep the paint out of the, I'll say the valleys or the little gullies. And you want to keep it mostly on the ridge line of the lines, because otherwise you'll get little blobby spots. You can see on mine, I had a little blobby spot. Now with this one, this is so much fun to do because it seems like wouldn't work, but it does. And so get your twine. And so the sample that I have is a star. So you cut out the circle and you just have to make tiny little incisions around the circle. It doesn't take much. It's literally just to hold the string in place. And so what I think of is a pie that you're not cutting all the way through. So you just want to make little tiny snippets, not anything too big. And then follow these steps, and they will ultimately lead you to this lovely little bit of star paper. Toilet paper rolls. I mean, they're just the best. I mean, we all end up having toilet paper rolls, right? And so if we can use them to make art, so much the better, right? So this, I think, is a lot of fun because you can make multiple shapes using that roll. And so if you watch the little video that's on here, you should be able to see how to make those shapes.
Okay, so what do you do with the toilet paper roll in printing? Well, you can make circles. You can see I put some red on the end of this and made some circles to do some tests. You can make little triangle stamps. You can make little square stamps. You can make little sort of like, I'll say, petal shapes. And then you can use those to stamp on your paper. So the way that I did these is I took my scissors and I cut my roll up. So the first thing I did was I cut this straight across like that. And then I just made my leaf shape. So literally it's just fold that circle in half and you get that kind of leaf shape. It could be an eye shape, all sorts of things, right? Then I took another little bit because I was like, well, let's see how many shapes we can get out of this thing. And I cut another piece, and then I wanted a triangle. So I folded at the top first. Then I took these pieces and I put a fold in there. And then I put a fold in there. And then I come away with a triangle. You know, you can make yours a little bit more perfect than mine, but it's a serviceable triangle. This one was a little bit more even, you can see. So you might have to do a little bit of trial and error, and that is okay. And then I wanted to make a square. Well, I actually wanted to see if I could make a square. And so I cut up a little bit more. And I just took the round piece and I made one corner. I made a second corner. And then I just sort of let the roll itself kind of tell me where it wanted to be folded. I didn't fight it too much because I was like, you know, it's not going to be perfect. It's handmade. It's fine. And so then you end up with a square. So then I obviously have my circle left over. So now I have a number of different little shapes that can be used to make prints.
And then go ahead after you've made the shapes and make some marks with it. And you can go ahead, like I chose the circle because I thought that it would make really nice holiday lights. And so you can either leave them empty like they are in the first couple of steps, or you can fill them in the little sample I did down at the bottom. You can also use it, you can put your family photos maybe inside the circles. So it's really a lot of fun. So play with it and enjoy. And then I really wanted to highlight for you how you can just have found objects to make your prints. So there are things everywhere, like these that I have here. So I have straws that work really well to make little centers of flowers. I have an old pencil, like it always makes me crazy when you end up with a pencil and this has, you've had the pencil so long that the eraser kind of dries out. But it works great for making little stamps. So you can make little dots on your paper. And then nature just supplies us with all sorts of great things. So you can get leaves or ferns or grasses, anything really that you think would stamp well. And so once you've got a little bit of experience with the stamping, like making it, you'll have an idea of like, hey, maybe that, and try it, who knows? So find something you think, I don't know, go ahead and give it a whirl. That's my favorite part of the whole process is kind of experimenting. And then I know we're supposed to be talking about wrapping paper, but I wanted you guys to know, and I'm sure you already figured this out, you can use these stamps to make other things. So you can make a little story. So make a little, maybe like a handmade card for somebody, or if you want to make some wall art, you can do that. Just maybe for the wall art, switch up the paper a little bit from the craft paper to something a little bit, I'll say longer lasting, because I don't think craft paper is archival. But yeah, have some fun with it. So hopefully by this time you have made some magical wrapping paper, or maybe you made some holiday cards. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining us here today. And we would love to see what you made. So please don't hesitate to share pictures of what you've done on Facebook and tag Greenbelt Recreation Arts, or email them to Amanda at alarson@greenbeltmaryland.gov. Thanks again for coming. Bye.